All right, but you can't talk about KC area high school basketball without mentioning this guy, Ed Fritz. The Blue Valley Northwest head basketball coach joined us in the locker room to talk about his legendary career, former players, and the state of Kansas City hoops. Well, Coach, you have certainly turned out a bunch of big-time college players, and right now you've got a player at Kansas, Christian Brown, and his brother Parker at Missouri. That's got to be a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. I've been able to go to games at KU and Missouri this year, and to see both of them progress and throughout the year. And the other thing that's really exciting is that they have a younger brother that's a freshman at Blue Valley Northwest, and really looking forward to watching him become a good player also.
Now, when you go to those games at Allen Fieldhouse or at the zoo and watch the Brown brothers, are you able to distance yourself and be a fan, or the coach comes out and you're like, okay, why is he doing this? Why is he doing that?
I'm a big fan first, and I just love being around the guys and seeing them do well. And I've watched Christian come from having a very small role this year with KU to being a really impact player. And of course, today he was named to the Big 12 All-Freshman team. So very proud of him, and also Parker.
Now, 2 years ago, you had a pair of your players starring on that Loyola of Chicago team that actually played the role of Cinderella. They got to the Final Four. What was it like watching Clayton Custer, who you had coached since he was little, and Ben Richardson get that experience?
It was just great. Once in a lifetime. I was able to go to the games. I went to the Tennessee game where Clayton hit a game-winning shot at the buzzer to beat Tennessee. And then the next week I went to Atlanta where Ben was named the South Region MVP. And watching those guys contribute to their team and to kind of become nationally famous was really cool.
Now, Kansas is the nation's unanimous #1 team right now, and there are two Kansas City kids playing major roles. You mentioned Christian Brown, and Oak Park grad Ochai Agbaji came out of nowhere last year. He was supposed to redshirt. He ends up playing a major role. What does that say about Kansas City high school basketball?
I think it says a lot. We've got a lot of really good players in this area. A lot of players have gone on to do really well, and to have two guys in the Kansas City area be on the #1 team in the country, I think it says everything. And those two guys really play well together, so it's been really exciting.
Do you think that their success might get some other coaches to look really hard at some Kansas City kids who have ended up playing in a lot of other places? There's a great player from Miege, obviously, at Stanford. There are players playing all over the United States. You've got some guys playing around. Do you think that their success is going to make college coaches look at these guys a little differently?
You know, I think it has, and I think it will. Darian Jackson, that played at Northwest, is just won the conference at Tulsa this year. And Joe Pleasant, also a Northwest grad, made the NCAA tournament last year at Abilene Christian and is going to make a run. And there's a lot of players all over the place. And our youth basketball scene is very big and are very well known nationally. So I think the kids are getting a lot more exposure, and I think the college coaches are seeing they get good players here.
Your team was able to win on Saturday night and stay alive in the playoffs in Class 6A. You're playing for another state championship. How good is this team? But you got some teams you got to beat.
Yeah, we've been lucky to win 19 games in a row. We won our league. You know, the Eastern Kansas League is really a tough league. So I think that's going to prepare us really well for the state tournament. And we've got some really good players. I've got a senior in Markel Hood and two juniors in Austin Mason and Jack Chapman that have really done a good job with leadership for our team.
Now, your wife, Ann, has played on a state championship team at Shawnee Mission East. She's coached 3 state champions at Blue Valley North. Have you guys learned from each other? Has she coached you up a little bit, and have you maybe taught her a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's really nice to be able to do that. I got to go to a lot of her games this year, and she comes to mine. And whenever she gives me advice, I really want to listen to her and take what she says to heart. And she's a really good coach, and I try to help her out all we can. And you know, being able to share something with somebody you love is really special.
Your sons and daughter both played big-time basketball, travel basketball, then played high school basketball at a high level. You coached youth basketball here in the Kansas City forever. I remember you pulling me over at a tournament, I don't know, 15 years ago, 18 years ago, saying, Neil, you got to come down and see, I got a little team. And you told me about Clayton Custer when he was about 3 feet tall, it seemed like, throwing up threes. Do you have advice for parents whose kids want to play sports?
Yeah, I think it's the #1 thing. I think your child needs to really love the game, love the sports. And with our kids, we just try to, whatever they have an interest in, we try to steer them that way. And then I think, you know, the more you're able to play, the better you get. And so #1, have fun, and then just help them along and be supportive of everything they do.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot here. As a coach, in your opinion, what do you think about KU's chances of going all the way?
I think they're good. I know that once you get to that tournament, anything can happen, and it usually does. I just think KU is so locked in on defense right now, and they're doing such a good job. It seems like they have great chemistry, and the thing with Coach Self, he seems to get his teams ready at the right time, and for them to go whatever with just one loss in the league is pretty remarkable with all the talent.
All right, Coach, thanks so much. He is the Bill Belichick of Kansas City High School coaching right now. Thanks a lot, Ed, for stopping by. His Huskies are the 3rd seed in Class 6A. They begin their state tournament run on Thursday of this week against Lawrence Free State. Meanwhile, Olathe South looks to knock off Harmon, and Blue Valley North will face Lawrence High School.